But they did plant the seeds, like I said, for Swerve and MJF. What would you do? And we'll talk about World's End next week, but we'll close out on this. If we have Swerve and MJF, that to me sounds like it could be a Revolution main event, maybe Double or Nothing. I personally would give the belt to Joe next weekend at World's End. I feel like you don't do Joe for a second time and have him lose for a fucking second time. I know WWE did that constantly. He lost to everyone multiple times in world title situations. I get it. AEW should be different, though. Joe's killing it. He's over. He's healthy for now. Just give him the title. I mean, the MJF thing, I think he's doing great work, but it's run its course, man. I think it's time to give Joe the belt, if only for a brief bit. Or do you have MJF retain? You do the devil reveal on that show. I don't know how that's going to go. I think there's a lot of potential directions and a lot of outcomes that are just not satisfying. But regardless, you could have MJF retain and then have Swerve face and beat MJF at Revolution. Which direction would you go in with the World Championship?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, I like Joe. I saw you talking about Joe. I mean, I just feel like with MJF specifically, I mean, like I said, depending on how injured he really is and what his contract is. I mean, he said the other day, I'm still a free agent, which who fucking knows at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, theoretically, Joe should beat him. I guess that's where I'd go. I feel like Jay White should have been the one to beat him. They clearly went in a different direction. But if at this point, Joe should beat him. Like I said, he's injured. Allegedly, contracts coming up. He's been the shit kicked out of him constantly. If Joe can't beat him, he might as well just retire.
Seriously, I mean, I think Joe's been built up so well, and I feel like there's and again, if Swerve is the ultimate outcome here and him taking the championship, then I kind of get it, but I don't like that they would be sacrificing Joe to get there. I would rather they have given this spot to someone else if Joe's just going to lose again. I feel like ending the show, ending the year, Joe new champion, it doesn't even have to be a long run, dude. Give him the belt for a little while. MJF is hurt anyway. I mean, he's not going to be I guess he wasn't working television all the time regardless, even before the injuries, as of like 6 months ago when he was still a heel. I get it, but I think it's time to switch things up. Give Joe the belt. You could save Swerve for a different point. He's ready now. I think Swerve can be a world champion in 2024, but I don't know, man. I think to end that show with another MJF win over Samoa Joe, and MJF has a legitimate injury that should require him to have some time off, I would imagine, would not be the way to go. Okay, the show closes. The devil being revealed is Dolph Ziggler. Ooh, great way to go off the show and end the year. Who cares? I think we need to have a new world champion crowned on that show, and I think it should be Samoa Joe. If they're saving for Swerve, that's fine, but I don't think the devil stuff was enough to keep people entertained or compelled in the meantime.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, any updated predictions for the devil?
Don't care. I don't care.
I'm going to ask you again next week, too.
I'm going to say I don't care. Unless it's revealed. I mean, they're going for the tag belts. Who gives a shit?
The Ring of Honor tag title specifically.
Stop with this crap. Like, the only person that was going to be compelling would have been Punk if he resigned. Clearly he's in WWE. At this point, they really don't give a shit.
No, seriously. Punk would have been like the only... I think Adam Cole, to me, would have been another good outcome, but I think he's hurt enough to where they're not... And the only issue with that, too, is that if Adam Cole's hurt for a long time, and he is the devil, that's cool... But the problem there, though, is he not getting physical for the next 8 months, and then that's a problem, too, I think. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I'm over at this point.
Just reveal it as Jack Perry and move on.
Just reveal it and just move on in general. It's awful. It gives me Ace and 8 vibes.
It does, dude. Please. Dude, last night, I gotta tell you, that angle, the angle or the segment with Joe and MJF, I liked up until those guys started coming out. And they didn't just have the usual 4 or 5 masked men. Did you notice there were like 10 of them that came out and started attacking them? It not only gave me Aces and Eights vibes, it gave me vibes of that Dark Order angle, that closed Dynamite, the infamous angle that almost exactly 4 years ago, actually, where there were like a million creepers around the ring and it dragged on for like 10 minutes. That's what that reminded me of. It wasn't a long segment, but it gave me vibes of that bullshit.
Yeah, honestly, the creeper bullshit.
One of the worst endings in AEW history. This did not close the show, but that's what it reminded me of.